Version 12 relies exclusively on INI files to store settings. It also uses INI files to save data for exporting and importing. To avoid problems with formatting and default characters, when using different regional settings in Windows, version 12 forces all programs to use US-centric settings, as shown in the information on the screen. Welcome to this tutorial on the image blinker in MPO Canopus version 12. This utility program is used to look for moving objects in a set of images. It differs from the Moving Object Search utility, or MOS, by requiring visual inspection of the images, whereas the MOS automatically locates objects with near linear motion. The blinker uses one of two methods to assist with finding moving objects. The first simulates the old-style technique of rapidly switching among two or more aligned images while looking at a small region to see if any objects are showing a consistent trend in motion. If the field is relatively small, the motion is linear. The other method is to convert the color palette of three images to use only shades of red, blue, or green. When superimposing an aligned image, stationary objects are white while moving objects will have 3 points on the superimposed image, one red, one green, and one blue. For this exercise, use the images found under the path shown on the screen. The three images from 2023 June 15th are recommended for the initial effort for blinking and the RGB method. As you'll see later, you can select more images and use only some or all of them, except for the RGB method, when exactly 3 images must be chosen. From here on, we'll use live action videos to demonstrate the use of the program. Open the Utilities category on the MPO launcher and select Blinker and wait for the program to appear. Since no auto-matching is involved, the user profile is neither important or available to change. Set the apertures to 13 by 13 with a 5-pixel dead zone and 11-pixel sky annulus. Use an image zoom value that allows seeing most of the image. It's recommended that you set the image scaling to compressed if your images allow. This makes moving objects and, in particular, the blue position in the RGB image easier to see. If important for seeing faint objects, load any flat, dark, and/or bias frames before selecting the images. In this case, we'll use the flat in the root of the asteroid LC directory. Once the flat is loaded, click the Load button, the one with the file folder icon, to display a multi-image open dialog. Maneuver to the June 15th directory and select images 11, 23, and 34. Click the Open button to load the images into the blinker list. Know that any time you click the folder button, the current list is cleared and you must go through the process of checking and setting X and Y positions again. Also important to keep in mind is that in this list, there is a difference between an item being checked and an image being selected. Checked images are used for blinking, while selected images that are also checked are used for the RGB method. Check all 3 images in the list and then double-click on the first image, number 11. Locate a star somewhat near center, or is at least one that is in all 3 images, and not too close to an edge on any of them. Click on the star. You will see some information in the status bar near the bottom of the form. If the XY positions are -1, it means that the star is saturated or there is some other problem. Choose a different star in this case. Click the key button under the list. This records the XY position of the star on the image, and an asterisk appears next to its name. Double-click on the second image in the list and then click on the same star in this image, as in the first image. Again, with the second image highlighted in the list, click the key button to set the XY position of the star. Double-click on the third image in the list. As before, click on the same star that was used for the first image, and then click the key button. All 3 items in the list should have an asterisk at the front of the image name. Once you have set the star's position on the 3 images, go to the bottom of the panel on the right side and make sure that the mode switch is set to blink. The interval value is the time in milliseconds each image is shown before the next. Start with 250 milliseconds. You may find slower, larger numbers, or faster, smaller numbers are better. Click the cycle button to the right of the switch to start showing the 3 images in succession. Since they are aligned, only moving objects should appear to change location. You can change the interval while blinking by editing the number, but you must also click the button to the right of the entry field for the new value to take effect. If not blinking, you can change the value without having to click the button. The new value will be used when blinking resumes. A minimum of 2 images is required for blinking and 3 images are required for the RGB method. It's not a bad idea to load more than 3 images regardless of which method you'll use. This can extend the range of motion for blinking and allows excluding one or more of the selected images because of trailing or other problems. Bad images can be excluded from blinking or creating the RGB masters by unchecking them in the list.
To use the RGB method, blinking must be off and image zoom must be set to 100%. It's not possible to zoom the static RGB image after it is created, so setting to 100% now allows creating the correct static image and can make seeing the red, green, and blue dots easier. Let's load images 11, 23, 34, 44, and 54 into the list. All 5 images will be checked. Double-click on image 11 and set the X and Y positions. Do the same for images 34 and 54. For the RGB method, the images must be checked and selected. Select the 3 images using Control-click on each one in the list. Now click the 3 color wheel button under the list. It will take a second or 2 to create the static RGB image. Set the mode switch to static, its right-hand position. This automatically loads the static RGB image. Scroll around the image and look for a red, green, and blue set of dots that are close to being on a line. Since the interval between images was about the same, the dots will be equally spaced. Red is the first selected image, green is the second, and blue is the last selected image. Click the Save button at the bottom of the blinker panel to save the static RGB image as a PNG file.
This concludes this tutorial for using the MPO Canopus image blinker to find moving objects by visual inspection of changing images or a static RGB image. More tutorials are on the MPO YouTube channel. Use the URL on the screen to find the complete list. Please subscribe so that you can be notified when new tutorials are available. If you have any questions or comments, please send them to the MPO software forum on IO Groups. Please note, you cannot attach files to messages. If necessary, you will be asked to send them offline. Thanks for watching.